Okay, hi everybody. Good evening. It's good to see all of you. It's always good to see all of you. Okay, so welcome back to the crazy land of Starting Point. And tonight we're going to continue our series on relationships. And so I chose another reading from one of my favorite books, Each Day in the Beginning, which is the daily meditation book for women in recovery. And I picked the one from July 31st. The readings from July 28th up to about August 3rd. Pretty much most of them are on relationships. They're pretty neat. July 31st. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made like brick, remade all the time and made anew. We love to be loved. We love to be held. We love to be caressed. A show of appreciation, we love too. And we love to know we've been heard. The friends, the spouses, the children in our lives want the same from us. Like a garden needs water, sun, weeding to nurture its growth, so does love need to be attending to. Become wholly healthy people, we need tender nurturing. We also need to give away what we get. Those we nurture will bless our growth. Love is dynamic, not static. It is always changing. It always changes those it unfolds. Since coming into this program where the sharing of oneself, the open expression of love is profoundly evident, we each have changed, and our presence has changed others. We have learned to accept, love, and give it. But better yet, we have learned that we deserve love. I look around me today at others, and I remember my growth and theirs depends on loving and being loved. Or reach out. I can make love something new. I really wanted to share that tonight because I wanted to spend some time tonight talking about what I call the core of relationships. Learning to have a healthy relationship with yourself as a person, because I truly believe that unless you truly take the time to work on yourself, to really get to know who you are and learn to love yourself, it's very difficult to give that to others. So some of the basic questions we're going to ask ourselves tonight, and they're beautiful questions, but they're questions all of us have to work on. One question is, who am I? What am I all about? Why am I on this earth? Do I truly, truly love myself? Do I honor and respect who I am? Am I able to acknowledge my gifts and my talents? Do I hide them or do I try to share them? Am I open to learn from others? Am I open to new things and new directions? Do I have an open mind? All these things are part of what it means to be healthy. And so what I want to do tonight, I'm going to use a little bit of an analogy. And I want to describe what a healthy person is. And then I'll kind of describe to you once again what an unhealthy person is pretty quickly. Then I'll show you how we take somebody from being unhealthy to go on a journey of learning, a journey of growing. And one of the things I love about this is there's that part of that song, and I'm not going to sing, so don't worry. But a song that goes, getting to know me is getting to love me. I truly believe in that concept today. We each have the obligation to get to know ourselves, to be comfortable who we are, and be able to learn to love ourselves. And love only comes when you're able to receive it and also be able to share it. And so I'm going to use an analogy to bring this out to you and describe to you what a healthy person is. I want you to do a visualization. Visualize taking a stone and dropping it into a pool of water. When the stone hits the water, ringlets form off the stone. The first one is usually pretty thick and small. And as they go out, they get wider till eventually they kind of get bigger and bigger till they eventually disappear. The stone is the symbol, because it's solid, of somebody that's healthy. If you're a healthy person, you have the following qualities. You have an open mind. You're open to learn. You're open to grow. You're open to change. You're open to new things in your life. You're never done. If you're truly healthy, you have a spirit and energy that makes you who you are as a person. That energy is special. If I'm healthy, I also am able to look at life in a positive way because I accept who I am and have a sense of gratitude for all the things I have in my life. A truly healthy person also is able to handle conflict, handle situations that come up in life, and be able somehow, some way to get through them so they become stronger and learn from them. I often call them, we all have our battle scars, and scars are really something beautiful when you're going through the struggle. Also, if you're truly healthy, then literally you have this energy inside of you, this energy of just wanting to celebrate the gift of who you are, but to celebrate it with others. So to be truly healthy, I need to be able to be interconnected with other human beings. All my learning comes from the people I meet, the experiences I go through, and the situations I experience in life. So if you're healthy, then in that first little circle around you, you have people in your life referred to as significant others, very special people. And normally, there's usually around 2, 3, at the most, maybe 4. Notice I didn't say 1. So if you only have 1, you'll burn the sucker out. You're driving crazy. So we need at least 2, 3, or 4. These are people I feel comfortable with, I feel safe with. I can let my hair down if you have some hair. But basically, I can learn over and over again the importance of being able to be vulnerable, to be open. And I feel real comfortable with these individuals. These are special people. We find them in our life and they become part of us, they become part of our being. In the second circle, we have a whole group of people called friends. But we have different circles of friends. No matter where you are in your journey in life, you have different circles of friends. Starting with grammar school, with family. You know, remember back in grammar school when you had that friend that you said was going to be your friend forever and ever and ever and ever and ever? You have no idea where they are today, but that's okay. Because at that stage of your life, they were your circle. And as you go through the journey of life, those circles change. And the circles of friends do change. You learn after a while something called boundaries. That different circles are there for different types of people, and they're part of your learning process and your growing process. But you have to also learn where things should be in those circles. For example, in your community, the neighborhood you live in, if you walk down the street and your neighbor says, "Hi, how are you?" Please don't do a fifth step with them. And don't scare the poor sucker to death. Wonder why he's moving the next day. You just scared him off the neighborhood. We have to have a time and a place for everything because we have a tendency as codependents and even those in recovery, we have a tendency to be, we self-disclose a little bit too much. We have to learn to get a little duct tape and put it here every once in a while. It's all part of the process we have to go through. So it's a time and a place for everything. We also learn after a period of time that some of those circles of friends might be on your job. They might be in your community. We also have a recovery circle of friends. So there are things I can share with people in recovery that I can't share in other circles, and that's okay. I have a bunch of guys I meet every morning at 6:30 at the gym here where I live. It's about 5 of us. We get together every morning. And we have a lot of fun. We're a bunch of old nuts. We cut each other up. We do all kinds of crazy stuff. We have a good laugh in the morning. It's our therapy. Well, I don't talk about recovery to them or the recovery program or stuff to that effect. We talk about whatever we want to talk about. And usually we have some fun. That's okay. That's an important circle in my life. And every circle is important. On your job, the community, the people you work with, all those things, even you, Loretta, not a problem. They're all part of the circles we go through in life. And so we experience this as we go along. And so we realize as we go through the journey of life, things are also going to change. And so circles of friends will always be part of your journey. The next circle is a little wider. I have a nickname for this circle. I call them time people. These are people that come into your life for a short period of time, then they leave. I call them the messengers. The messengers are people that are sent to us by our higher power to teach us things. If I have an open mind, then I listen to the messengers. I'm open to learn. I'm open to grow. I'm open to hear new things. Even though some of them might be distasteful to me, I'm still open to hear them, to learn from them, and to experience different things in the course of my journey in life. Please don't ever be done. And we have to learn to listen to the messengers. And sometimes they come in some of the strangest places at the strangest times. I remember in my own journey, in my own life, some of my greatest teachers have been street people. Some of my greatest teachers have come from the bottom. Some of my greatest teachers are people that struggle very deeply. I have a lot of gratitude today for so many people in the course of my journey. I really believe that God sends people into our life at different times. I'll kind of tell you a personal story. When I was studying for my master's degree in counseling back at LaSalle in 76, 77, back in those days, I had to do an internship and a training. And so I had all this book knowledge in my head and I was ready to go. I was going to, fix the world. So they sent me to a place in Philly called DRC, Diagnostic Rehabilitation Center at 3rd and Arch, was a rehab for street people. One of my greatest teachers was a gentleman named Jack R. And Jack was my supervisor. And when I got there, I was ready to go. I had all the book knowledge. I just studied all this stuff and I was going to put it into practice. And I said, Jack, I'm ready. What do you want me to do? He said, go down to the men's quarters. I was a priest at the time. Go down to the men's quarters. When they bring men in off the street, I want you to help delouse them and give them baths and get them ready for the treatment center. I said, what? He said, yep, that's your first job as an intern. And he said to me the words I'll never forget, and I'm sure they're on his tombstone. He said over and over again to me, it's just a lesson in humility. Humility is your greatest teacher. But while you're down there, Vince, everybody comes through that door. Say, everybody you see, but for the grace of God, that could be me. And I learned so many beautiful lessons down there. The smell wasn't too good, but I learned a lot. It's a beautiful thing, of course, in my journey in life. After a month, I said to Jack, what else you want me to do? He said, well, I'll tell you what, for the next month, you can be the janitor. I said, thanks a lot, Jack. I know, don't even say it. It's good for my humility. That's all Jack ever said to me. And guess what? He was right. Cleaning floors, cleaning toilets, doing all kinds of wonderful, fantastic things. Got me ready to be, the director of Starting Point. I got to clean toilets and do things here too. It's just amazing how things work out. It's beautiful. But the concept is I learned something very powerful. Some of your greatest teachers are not in books. Some of my greatest teachers are people I've met on the course of my journey in life. They're very special people. Simple people, people down to earth. I love them. I always remember a gentleman who was in our halfway house when I started Starting Point. Old man McGuigan, we used to call him. He was a stubborn Irishman. He used to drive me crazy. And basically, he was in recovery. He went to meetings and stuff, but he used to say, don't bug me with them steps. Don't bother me with them things. And so on his deathbed, when I was with him, he said, look, Father, he said, it took me 83 years to get the first step. Don't bug me with the second one. I'll check on that when I get on the other side. I still love them. These are the characters, the people that make life so beautiful and so special. These are the characters I love. And God has blessed me in so many ways with so many fantastic people over the course of my journey. I could stay here all night and tell you stories about them. I have so much gratitude in my life. And yet I know they're God's messengers. I know that's why God sends them into our life. Even in relationships, why do you think people come into our life in relationships? They teach us lessons. They're our teachers. You know, that beautiful Marie sitting next to you, Maria and Ed, you know, she's your teacher. It's amazing, isn't it? You're teachers to each other. You know, and Denise and Charlie, myself and my wife, you know, Jackie and Bill, all of us, every one of us are connected one to another. We learn from each other. We grow from each other. That's what it's all about. Even Carol's a great teacher. She's unbelievable. You know, she makes me crazy. It makes me nuts, but she's a good teacher. That's a good part about life. You know, and I love this. I love being able to look at life and see life through the eyes of messengers. We're all messengers to each other. The next circle is kind of big. We call them acquaintances. Now, we probably have hundreds of acquaintances. You know, acquaintances are people we meet on a daily basis. We don't really know them. They don't really know us. You know, they're people that come into our life. They leave our life. You might see them on the job. You might even know their name, but you don't really know who they are. So it's all part of the journey that we're connected with. We have plenty of acquaintances, but the bottom line is we learn from that. We learn boundaries. There's a time and a place for everything. And acquaintances are just that. So what do we do with acquaintances? You have things called small talk. Hi, how are you? Check the weather, see what's happening. How's your bunions? You know, your feet bothering you today? What's going on in life? You know, who knows? It's all small talk. You know, little things of life. You come right down to it. You know, I love that concept, and that's part of life. One last circle. It's a big one. It took me a lot of years to get in touch with this sucker. We also, if we're healthy, we have in our life people called enemies, negative persons, places, and things. And it's okay. We realize over the course of our journey, we're going to experience people that come into our life. We may learn negative things from them. They may teach us patience and tolerance. There are things that we probably have a good chance of learning from them, but it's all part of the journey that we're on. And so we realize these circles are part of our journey, but the important thing, if I'm healthy, then I know where people are on my journey. I accept that, and I set my boundaries accordingly. And I'm learning over and over again how strong and how necessary boundaries are. As a result, then I realize also, you may be interested to find out that maybe members of your family might not be significant others. They might be just acquaintances. No, I love my Italian family, you know, but, you know, I go visit them. And when my aunt was alive, I go visit her and she'd say to me, so hang around those people? I say, yeah, what can I tell you? I like those people. Well, I love that, you know, and I've learned, what do I talk about? When I visit my family, I love them. We have a cup of coffee. We talk about the neighborhoods of years ago back in South Camden. We talk about, you know, how the world is, you know, who knows? We talk about small talk, it's called. So we talk about the concepts of different things. And always the biggest talk always is, you know, if only things were the way they were back in the 30s, everything will be wonderful and great. Okay, but it's wonderful. What the heck? But, you know, that's part of life. It's part of the journey. So learn and being healthy to set these boundaries and put people where they belong on the journey. Now, if you're unhealthy, it means you have no core, you have no center, nothing but an empty hole. And that's sad. I remember when I had my nervous breakdown, I was in a hospital, and a doctor said to me, I'll never forget it. I was a priest at the time, I was, you know, young, and he said to me, you know, Vince, you're spiritually dead. You have no idea who you are. You have no sense of yourself at all. Of course, I didn't know what he was really talking about. How could I be spiritually dead when I was a priest? But you know what? He was right. I had an empty hole inside of me. I had no idea who I was. And I'm so grateful today to the people in these rooms, the people in recovery. I'm so grateful to the 12 steps. And I've learned over the years that to truly begin to build a healthy self deep down inside, I have to learn what spirituality and the principles of spirituality really are all about. Because the word spiritual means to come to an awakening of my personal self, it means to wake up, to come to an awakening of who you are, come to an acceptance of who you are, to come to a celebration of who you are as a person. Even though at times you may not celebrate a lot, but that's okay. Got to celebrate a little bit. We get started. It's a process we go through in life. And so we learn over a period of time, we learn the principles of spirituality. We learn how to love ourselves. We learn how, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be telling people to fall in love with themselves. Isn't that wonderful? It's unbelievable. Howie knows what I'm talking about. It's fantastic. We have to learn, right, Jen? We have to learn how to love ourselves, which is so important. Because then I'm able to give that to somebody else. That's the important part of it. Got to keep that journey going. Got to keep working on it. That's what's important, this whole process. And so we learn after a while that literally, if I learn to love myself, then I learn to get to know me, to celebrate my personhood, to respect, to honor, and to care for myself as a person. These are all the principles of spirituality, the growth process inside of us. And I have so much gratitude because stop and think about this just for a couple of minutes. A long time ago, a couple of men connect with a bunch of other crazy men, got together and put together a beautiful program. It's called the 12 Steps, 12 simple principles. And they had the wisdom and the knowledge to take these principles from all the great writings of the world, put them into simple concepts that would teach us self-love and self-awareness and self-discovery. I have so much gratitude today for the 12 Steps. To me, they're a part of my ultimate spiritual program because they're so simple and they're so beautiful and they work. And I have to be able to try to live them every day to the best of my ability. Makes me understand how powerless I am. Makes me understand the gifts that we have on the inside. And the steps are great about forgiving, about trusting, about having faith, and stop trying to be in charge of everything and run everything. God, take a break, please. I mean, good God. The two things that kill us, especially as codependents and addicts, are control and fear. We have nothing to be afraid of. We have today. We have the journey of today. We have to have an attitude of gratitude just for the moment and celebrate it. But faith and trust. You know, the more I've learned to let go, everything kind of works for itself. You know, I look back at my own history, my own life, and my own days, and even more now, I realize, you know, God takes care of us. Why worry? You know, I got a PhD in worry when I was born. My parents gave it to me. It was wonderful. You know, they gave me a PhD in fear, guilt, and worry. I call it the Italian syndrome. But the bottom line was, I've learned today, I don't need to live that way. Who wants to live that way? I don't. You know, so, you know, you're on this side of the dirt today. You're having a fantastic, wonderful day. Isn't it wonderful? You know, what the heck? What more do you want? Keep it simple. I never forget my sponsor when I first came into OA, a very beautiful man named Richard, God rest his soul. You know, this afternoon when I was speaking over at Starting Point, I was in the lecture hall and I was basically sitting around, you know, doing the 12 o'clock lecture around all the different monuments we have to people there. I looked up on the right and I saw Richard's picture. And Richard used to always say to me, and I love Richard, he used to say, just do a little bit at a time. Growth is slow, gradual, a little bit at a time. Don't do too much. Of course, I was codependent. I said to Richard, if I do that much, he used to say, no, just that much. That's enough. Go slow. You know what's funny about all this? They're the same beautiful principles my father tried to teach me when I was a kid. But I didn't really understand what he was talking about. Now I do. He used to say, bien, Wyoming. Take it easy. Easy does it. You know, I think my pop knew those slogans before I even knew those slogans. It's totally amazing. Take it easy, he said. Everything will be okay. Everything always works out. Just kind of go along, do the best you can do, and go to sleep. And I used to go down to the South Philly AA group, and the old Italians used to say the exact same thing. I think it might be another part of the Italian disease. But they used to say, hey, did you wake up this morning? Yeah. What's your problem? Do the best you can for the day. Do what you got to do. At the end of the day, say thank you and go to sleep. I still love it. Simple stuff from simple people. Isn't that wonderful? That's why I love the old timers and I love all this stuff, and I realize many of them aren't around anymore. And everybody tells me now how he did this to me. Everybody tells me now that I'm the old timer. Okay, it happens to you, when you get older. But it's the fun part about life. You learn to enjoy it, to celebrate it. Teresa knows what I'm talking about. The beautiful things we have to do in life. We have to celebrate who we are. And that's what's so important, to be open to that journey, to be open to new things and new directions, and to realize that the higher power is right there working along with us. And the steps are a gift because the first 3 steps lay the foundation: faith, trust, powerlessness, acceptance, being able to, all these beautiful little principles, being able to take a look at our life and being able to forgive ourselves and heal ourselves and make peace with things around us and move forward. That prayer and meditation, start a day off, end our day. It's just little things that make everything in life. But above all, we're learning about relationships because the more I work on this relationship with myself and develop a sense of who I am as a person and continue to work on it, then a little bit at a time, I'll be able to stay connected and learn from others. I've told you this 1,000 times. My greatest teachers, and I use the term, I belong to what I call the human library. Every one of us has a story. Your story is the greatest story on the face of this earth. And just try to realize the fact that whenever we get to share our stories with each other, our experience, our strength, the things we've gone through in life, we learn from each other, we grow from each other. They're the greatest books on the face of this earth. And every one of us is special and important. Every one of us is something beautiful. We have to learn to be able to build that personal relationship with ourselves, because as you build that energy up inside of you, it'll ooze out to others. It'll happen naturally. You don't even know you're doing it. That's the great part about the whole thing. You don't need to know. It's the little things that touch individuals and touch people. And it's the little things that make everything fantastic and beautiful. That's what life is about. Will there be struggle? Yeah. Thank God. I'm glad. Because you got to struggle to grow. It's all part of the process we got to get through in life. That's why they use those terms called growing pains. No pain, no gain. They're really wonderful slogans. I love them. The bottom line is, we go through our struggles. We're going to go through loss. We're going to go through changes. We're going to experience things in life. I checked this morning. I just have to let you know about this, because it's part of it. And I checked this morning and I found out I have a round trip ticket. And guess what? So do you. And one day the higher power is going to punch the other end of that ticket. None of us know. And so what do? Do the best we can for today. And if you wake up tomorrow morning, give it another shot. We'll see what happens. I learned this over and over again. It's simple stuff. It's not complicated. And I think what happens after a period of time, you begin to hear the messages. The messages come through. My father used to say to me, take it easy. He used to say, Pacienza, Wayon. Pacienza, Wayon. Little boy, be patient. Be patient. Everything will happen when it's supposed to. He was teaching me all these wonderful spiritual words. Things will happen when they're supposed to. You can't make them happen, even though we think we can. I get a kick out of codependence. We have a disease. I call it the codependent crazies. And by the way, addicts have this disease too. And so between a normal person, if there is such a thing, but anyway, between a normal person and us crazy people in recovery. We get up in the morning, get ready for work, go downstairs, open the door, and notice we have a flat tire. Most normal people, okay, go back in the house, call AAA, have a cup of coffee, and sit and relax. Not us. We have to kick the tire, curse at it, yell at it, scream at it. Want to know why that poor tire's flat? Why are you doing this to me? All this kind of stuff and everything else have a quarter of a heart. We got to go through all this aggravation before we make the phone call. Get the tire fixed. I'm going to be late for work. So you're late. So what? The world won't come to an end. Have a cup of coffee. Relax. But see, as we get healthy, we begin to realize, why do we get so crazy and so nuts over so many things in life? When in reality, look around you today at the people that you're right next to you, the people you experience day in and day out, the little people, the people that are connected to your family, your neighbors, the people around you, all the simple little things, and just be appreciative of them. Even those people that aggravate the hell out of you, say thank you. You're teaching me patience and tolerance, helping me get through the day. We have to have a little bit of that in our life too. So we have to learn after a while that building a healthy relationship with myself is the key to everything I do in this world. So I don't work on me, then I have nothing to share with anybody else. But we share with others the beautiful things we have inside of ourselves. So don't hide your talents, don't hide your gifts. They're gifts. Gifts need to be shared. And I'll tell you a secret. The more you share them, the more you'll get them back. And they'll come back 100-fold. And that's really what it's about. So my prayer tonight, I want to really just kind of ask the higher power to guide us and be with us and help us on this personal journey. The journey to a better life, a better self, a journey to just realize and do what we can do in the course of the day. A journey to teach us to just enjoy the moments of the things we have around us. Be grateful. And to just ask God to help us to have an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of humility, an attitude of acceptance, an attitude of love. So let us pray. God, we come before you tonight in the spirit of prayer. We ask our higher power, our higher presence, all those that are connected to us. We ask our higher self to guide us and be with us on our journey. Please teach us not to try to do it alone. Teach us to be open to all the things around us. Teach us to look to the past, people that have gone before us. We thank you, God, for all the great teachers in our life. As I look back on our memorial wall and I see all the names and people that are there, I remember all the beautiful messages they carried. Even those we have lost still carry a message. Those messages are here today and part of us. We're on a journey. We're not going to journey alone. We ask our higher power to walk with us, to walk alongside of us on the journey. And we know that our higher power keeps sending messengers into our life. He tries the best to teach us. Help us to be open. Help us to learn. Help us to grow. To become connected, both to one another, to each other, and to realize how much we need each other. You know, it's a beautiful thing to realize you can't walk the journey by yourself. You have to walk it with others. So in gratitude and love and humility and the gift of acceptance, we come together tonight and we say thank you. Thank you for the messengers. Thank you for the journey. Thank you for the struggles. And help us to be able to experience one another and learn from each person we meet. We pray and we ask this in your name. Amen. Now I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and we're going to try in the spirit of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. We're going to try to do the we version of the Serenity Prayer. We're going to attempt.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not mine, be done.